What's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color. As you can see, I've got a ton of movies on my desk here. This is my entire Deaf Crocodile collection. I finally completed it because of this right here. This box has the last title I needed to complete the entire run of Deaf Crocodile titles. I'm gonna open it up for you guys, show you what's inside, then we're gonna add it to the collection, and then we're gonna talk about the whole set here from spine number 1 all the way to spine number 34, which just released a couple days ago. We're gonna talk about the entire collection for you today. I thought about waiting until I had seen every single title. There's still some that I have to catch up on. I haven't seen everything, but I figured I'd just go ahead and make this video. I'm excited that I've completed it. I wanna talk about the whole collection as a whole. And then later on down the road, after I've finished watching all of these movies, we can do like a ranking video or something like that in the future. Let's talk about Deaf Crocodile as a label first, briefly, and then we'll jump into that package right there. If you don't know what Deaf Crocodile is, where have you been? I've been trying to get the word out about this label. It's one of my favorite labels right now. They've been doing great work. They're still a very tiny label. They just started, I think like 3 years ago, I think 2023, 2022, around that time. They have not been doing this very long, but they've already put out all of these great titles. We're gonna go through them one at a time. They put out a lot of movies that the other labels aren't paying attention to, which I really appreciate. A lot of niche genres, a lot of fantasy, sci-fi stuff, a lot of Eastern European films, a lot of Soviet films, a lot of animation especially. They really put a focus on animation with this label, and not like family-friendly animation, but specifically animation that is intended for adults. And I love that. I really fully support that. I've always been a big proponent of animation, and we don't have enough labels paying attention to that stuff. So I really appreciate the work that Deaf Crocodile is doing. They've opened up my eyes to a lot of stuff that I had never even heard of before. And though not all of them are exactly my cup of tea, I at least know when I'm sitting down to watch a Deaf Crocodile title that it is gonna be something that I've never seen before, and that I'm gonna learn something, a little corner of film history that I wasn't even aware of. And they always do a good job on the supplements and the booklets, so it's always an educational experience, which I love. Let's go ahead and get into the first package here. Found this on eBay. This was the last one I needed. This is a hard one to track down. It's pretty pricey on the secondhand market, especially if you want to get the limited edition version with the booklet and slipcover and everything, which I had to do because I have all the other ones, so I wanted to keep it uniform. This is all the way back to spine number 2. This is the second release they ever did, and for some reason, it goes for about 60, 70 bucks on eBay, which is brutal. Look at this. It looks like it's in great shape. Wow, looks like it was just watched once maybe. This is Delta Space Mission. This is a Romanian animated film by a pretty renowned animator who also did another film that we'll talk about here that's in the collection as well. They have 2 films from this animation team. Here is the artwork underneath. Like I said, a hard one to track down. Very happy to have this in the collection. It's got the original limited edition booklet in there. Everything you need. 1980s space adventure film that I can't wait to check out. I've seen the other one. Anyway, we'll talk about it in a minute. I don't want to get too far into it. We'll talk about each film briefly. I don't want this video to get too long, but the first one here, spine number 1, The Unknown Man of Chandegor, is a French spy thriller. I actually found a copy of this online, still sealed. They hadn't even opened it yet. This is a 1960s Cold War spy thriller that I believe was lost at a certain point, but we're starting in France with the 60s Cold War spy thriller. You're gonna see all the different genres that Deaf Crocodile is putting out. Haven't had a chance to watch this one yet, but am looking forward to it. I think I'm gonna go back and start watching some of these early spine numbers, because these first couple, I hadn't even heard about them. It wasn't until we got to this one right here that I heard about Deaf Crocodile. So I'm playing catch up a little bit. Like I said, straight into Romanian animation. They weren't playing around. As soon as they got to spine number 2, they're already jumping into some very unique parts of the world, parts of cinema history. They've got reversible artwork underneath on the cases as well. And of course, they've got a booklet here. There's a little bit of what the art style looks like. Very reminiscent of like René Laloux around this same time period, who was working in France. Also some Hungarian inspiration, I would think, from the 70s and 80s. Love what that looks like. Can't wait to watch that one. That's a brand new one to the collection. You just saw me open that one. Spine number 3 here is Ilya Muromets from Alexander Tushko, who is a Russian director who did, this is the first one I watched. This is one of the very first ones I ever found from Deaf Crocodile. Love this director's stuff. I've seen several of his films now. This is from 1956. It is a fantasy, epic, fairy tale. There's some fairy tale elements in this one, but this one leans more into the big war epic. There is, a giant dragon that he fights and some mythical creatures as well. But this is the biggest production I've seen from a Tushko film. It is massive. There's hundreds and hundreds of extras. A fun adventure, sword and sorcery movie. Gets very dark and has a lot of sorcery and battles in it, but it never loses the spirit and the fun of a sword and sorcery like adventure novel. So there's like singing in it. There's scenes where actually people are happy and joyous, and it's not just all dour. Like I feel like ever since Game of Thrones, all sword and sorcery stuff these days is very, dour and depressing and serious. And this is like the perfect blend of both. I really, really enjoyed this one. We'll talk about the 3 other films from Alexander Tushko in the collection as well. This one here, I'm very interested to get into because I haven't started this one yet. This is the only time they did kind of like a box set of 4 films from the get-go. This is spine number 4, The Time-Bending Mysteries of Shahram Mokrai, which I believe is a Middle Eastern film. Yes, this is a Persian director, and there's 4 films in here. It's a nice, thick, chunky box. I'd love it if they did this again. The first one here is Ashkan, the Charmed Ring and Other Stories. Then we've got Fish and Cat. Then we've got Invasion. And then we've got Careless Crime. And these all came out in the late 2000s. So you have 2008, 2013, 2017, and 2020. Something as recent as 2020. So we've gone all the way back to the 50s and then all the way up to 2020 already. So they are all over the map. You can see the 4 discs in here. And here we've got the booklet as well. Reversible artwork on all of these. I do want to mention that you'll see here, there's like a hard line down the middle where we changed the packaging style. That's because this original run right here, they were all distributing through Vinegar Syndrome. So they have these very Vinegar Syndrome style slipcovers. Right about here, they switched to Diabolic DVD. They're distributing through them now, and they have these hard box, standard hard boxes that you would see from like Arrow Video or Eureka. So there's been a big change. So this was the hard, like I came to it late, so I had to track down all of these as they were out of print. Going forward, I believe all of these hard boxes are still in print. So if any of these sound interesting, you can go ahead and grab those. And they are re-releasing the standard editions of these ones over here. This collection, though, I am very excited to check out. It seems like there's a little bit of a sci-fi bend to it. I have not seen enough, I don't know if I've seen any Persian films, so I'm excited to check that one out. Then we have another Tushko film. This is Sampo, which I have seen and I have loved, and I think I like it, if not more than Ilya Muromets, at least as much, because this one really does steer more into the fairy tale side. There's not as many epic battles in this one. This is kind of just a simple story about a princess getting kidnapped and Sampo trying to hunt him down and take down the evil witch guy. It's very standard. It's just the filmmaking and the special effects of the day that really makes these stand out. Here's the inside of that one. It's got a booklet as well. All of the booklets on the Tushko sets actually have reproductions of original articles that were produced way back in the 50s and 60s about the filmmaker himself. Fantastica is what they call his filmmaking style. He kind of has his own movement, and they talk about it. They kind of keep it running through all 4 of the releases, which is pretty cool. I like reading through those. I definitely got a history lesson on that era of Soviet cinema. Moving right along to Zero Grad. This is spine number 6, another Soviet film, but this one is not a fantasy sword and sorcery thing. It's much more modern. Came out in 1988. You can see some very surreal sci-fi looking artwork right there. It's described on the back as part Kafka, part Agatha Christie, and part Monty Python. So a little Kafka-esque mystery, which I'm excited to dive into. There's some more modern photography right there. You can tell very different vibe than the Tushko films, but I'm also excited to check this one out eventually. A recent edition. This is one of the last ones I just picked up. Then we've got a really cool one here. This is kind of a blaxploitation, funky cop action movie that was considered lost for the longest time. And I think it was just found like a couple years ago, like right as Deaf Crocodile was getting started, they found a copy of this lost film, which is very cool. Love the artwork on this one, especially got front and back on that one. This is a genre that I really have no experience with at all. This is a huge blind spot for me. I did grow up watching The Last Dragon, which is wonderful, and I have really fond memories of watching that with my parents, but that's more kind of a parody of kung fu movies, where this is just a straight up cop movie that I can't wait to watch. It's another genre that is pushing my limits a little bit as far as cinema goes, and I like it. I like broadening my horizons, and Deaf Crocodile has been helping me do that. This next one is The Son of the Stars. This is the other Romanian animated film that I was talking to you about. The same two directors that made the Delta Space Mission also worked on this film. Again, I feel like this is right along the same lines as René Laloux's work. So if you've seen Fantastic Planet from the Criterion Collection or any of his two other films, this feels very similar, especially the other two films, which have more traditional animation. Fantastic Planet is kind of in its own category, but this feels very similar to René Laloux's other two films. Very surreal, out there, science fiction, space adventure. It's kind of like a space version of Tarzan. So there's this boy who's orphaned as a baby, and he grows up in space, and he is raised by these aliens on this alien planet and goes on this mythic adventure with a lot of crazy, surreal images and battle sequences. I wish I could show you more of the animation. There's not that much in this booklet, but it kind of has like that 80s He-Man style, but it's way more surreal and interesting, and goes to some really, especially that final battle sequence. That is a crazy scene that I will not forget anytime soon. Really enjoyed Son of the Stars. I hear Delta Space Mission is even better, so I can't wait to watch that one, but I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Then we've got The Assassin of the Tsar here, which is another Soviet film by the same director as Zero Grad, so I'm gonna try to watch those two pretty close together. It's got an older performance here by Malcolm McDowell, playing an older man living in a psychiatric institution. He starts telling his doctor about how he's killed two czars. It is apparently another time-traveling mystery film. That director really likes those, so I'm excited. I'm excited to check it out. Another newer one to the collection, and another one that I found from a seller online that didn't even open it, still sealed. So lucked out for a good price on that one. Another time-traveling film, Time of Roses, with a really unique cover there on the front. And this is our first Finnish film in the collection, Time of Roses from 1969. I've never seen a Finnish film, so I'm excited to check this out. Finnish director Risto Jarva's fascinating futuristic sci-fi mystery is set in a dystopian pop art designed world of gleaming white towers, Sony video monitors, and inflatable furniture, where the beautiful inhabitants all dress as Eddie Sedgwick-like pixie sprites or medieval page boys out of Logan's Run. I'm a big fan of Logan's Run. I like that movie quite a bit. We really need a boutique release of Logan's Run. But there's another one that I'm excited to check out. Another one that I picked up I actually picked that one up from Vinegar Syndrome when they were doing the closeout sale for like $10. Then the next one here is another one from Alexander Tushko, The Tale of Tsar Sultan. I've also seen this one. This one goes even more into the fairy tale genre, and it is basically a romance between two royal characters. It's got some interesting special effects. I didn't like it as much as the other two. I thought it was a bit scaled back. This is a much later one. It's 1967, but the visuals are still there. And this one is interesting because the entire thing is told in verse. So it's in rhyming couplets the entire time, which is an interesting challenge for the subtitlers. So, but they did a great job. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure there was some stuff that was maybe lost in translation. Maybe that plays a role in why I didn't like it as much as the other two, but it was still a good time and I quite enjoyed it. Next, we've got Prague Nights, a vignette film, a little anthology film from Czechoslovakia, our first Czech film in the collection. This has a lot of cast crossover with other Czech films I've been watching recently. So this is a little collection of 3 or 4 tales, moral tales. Again, very fairy tale. And I like that quite a bit. I love the artwork on this one too. I love the collage style illustration on there using, well, I guess it's not illustrations, I guess it's photography, but it looks really nice. That's another recent edition that was sent to me by a good friend of mine, Jeffrey Patron. He sent me a few of these to help me finish out my collection. So thanks so much. Really got to give a shout out to Jeffrey for that. Then the next one here is the first one I ever got from the collection. I've got to move a little faster here. We're taking too much time. I got to start moving a little faster. This is The Pied Piper from Jiří Bárta, another Czech film. This is a Czech stop motion animated film from 1986. Short film, only 53 minutes, but absolutely stunning animation that I have never seen anything else like. It uses kind of these wooden doll characters for the stop motion animation, but it also uses taxidermized rats as the rats in the film. It's this classic story, The Pied Piper. Everybody knows that tale, but this is definitely the most beautiful and the most dark and harrowing this story has ever been told. It goes to some really dark places, but absolutely amazing animation. One of my favorite stop motion animated films at this point. Definitely check that out if you have any interest in stop motion animation. Like I said, this is the first one I ever got. This came from my lovely wife Grace as a Christmas present. This was another pricey one because this is the Kickstarter exclusive slipcover that they only did a very limited run of. I don't have the standard limited release of this one. I'm not like a completionist as far as like I have to have every version of the film. I only have one version of each film. There's a couple Kickstarter exclusives in here, but I don't feel the need to track down the other version as well. One version is enough for me, and but I am happy to get the Kickstarter exclusive because I think it looks great. Next one here is another like favorite movie of mine, Heroic Times, another beautifully animated film. This is a medieval, just a straightforward medieval times film, no fantasy here. I mean, it's animated, so it is a little heightened, but this, every single frame is just a beautifully painted image. It uses like real painted images to do the animation. I wish I had some imagery to show you, but you can see right here, there's the images. He's painting every frame, and it's just another breathtaking animated feature that is also pretty short, because it has to be, because the animation is crazy. Yeah, 79 minutes, so pretty long for what they're doing here on screen. I had an incredible experience with this one as well. I watched this and Pied Piper pretty much back to back. If you need any convincing to get into the Deaf Crocodile label, watch those two because they will completely blow you away. Next, we've got Visitors from the Arcana Galaxy. This, another Kickstarter exclusive slipcover. Look at this. This looks absolutely bonkers. This is, I think of the collection, this might be the most Mystery Science Theater film in the collection. It's got this kind of B-movie vibe. It's a B sci-fi horror movie from 1981. So it's got, like, look at this. Look at these costumes. Look at these aliens. I mean, it looks very B horror movie, little trauma. Look at that. I haven't even got a chance to watch this one yet. I just picked this up and I'm thinking about waiting until Halloween time to pop this in when I'm in that mood for some silly horror movies. But look at that. I mean, even if it is a little silly, the visuals themselves look kind of great. I mean, they look really good. Looks super unique, looks very, very strange, and that is a Croatian film. So again, broadening my horizons, ticking off countries that I've never seen a film from. There it is. Looks like a really fun one. Then we've got two animated films in a row here, starting with Cat City, which is from Hungary, a Hungarian animated film. I've got a little experience with Hungarian animation, but mostly from Marcel Jankovic, which is the director of Son of the White Mare and Johnny Corncob. So mostly like that kind of fantasy, fairy tale, mythic animation. This is much more grounded, as grounded as it can be. It's a world made up entirely of cats, but it is a secret agent film. It's a gangster film, very adult-oriented film. I did watch the trailer when this came out, and it has a lot of adult themes in it, a lot of adult content in it, so very different from the Hungarian animation I've seen. Looks like it's drawing a lot of inspiration from Ralph Bakshi at the time. It's another 80s film, 1986. So I can't wait to check that one out. But this next one here is one that you can watch with the kids. I watched this one with my kids when I picked it up. It is Benny's Bathtub from Denmark, a wonderful, fun little adventure film. I'll go ahead and read the back here. A psychedelic animated kids film in which a young boy, bored with the dreary and gray adult world, follows an enchanted tadpole into the bathtub where he discovers a surreal, musical undersea world. So he goes down through his bathtub. It's kind of like The Wizard of Oz. He gets down there, he meets a colorful cast of characters, goes on this little adventure. It is a musical, and my kids had a great time with it. It's great to show kids. Even though it's not in English, it's very easy to follow the story. It's very visual, lots of eye-popping, psychedelic, colorful imagery, and it's only 41 minutes. So it's a nice breezy 40-minute film, so easy for kids to follow. There's also some episodes of an animated TV show from Denmark that are included as supplements on there that we also enjoyed watching together, which I didn't even know about and wouldn't have known about if I hadn't picked up this release. Hopefully we get that entire series on Blu-ray at some point because we quite enjoyed watching those. Highly recommend Benny's Bathtub. It's great. We had a great time watching that. Next up, we've got The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians, another Czech film, another sci-fi fantasy film based on Jules Verne. I think this is heavily inspired by Carol Zeman's work. It looks like it is anyway. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks a lot like Invention for Destruction or The Fabulous Baron Munchausen. Carol Zeman was very influential in Czech cinema especially, and this is coming right off the heels. This is 1981. Looks like a lot of fun. Another one that I can't wait to check out. Like I said, a lot of genre stuff, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of fantasy, stuff that the other labels are kind of leaving on the table. So very, very thankful for the work Deaf Crocodile's doing. Another animated film here, The Tune from Bill Plympton. Famous animator Bill Plympton. We've got The Tune here, his 1992 film, but we've also got several short films on here. We've got Your Face from 87, How to Kiss from 88, Guard Dog from 2004, and then The Flying House Dreams of a Rarebit Fiend, which is a 1921 animated short from Winsor McCay. Famous animator Winsor McCay. Plympton actually went back and redubbed the animation and did his own version of it, which is really, really cool. If you're not familiar with Plympton, he's got this kind of colored pencil crayon art style. Very cartoony, looks a lot like caricatures that you would get at an amusement park or the funny pages from newspapers. Very, very unique style of animation that looks like a lot of fun. They're also putting out another Bill Plympton set in just a couple weeks here. They've already announced it, so that's a great addition as well. And keeping the animation going, we've got Bubble Bath here, which, speaking of psychedelic, this is one of the most bizarre avant-garde animated pieces I've ever seen, but it was not boring at all. Even though I couldn't always follow what was happening, it's a very simple story, but it's told in the most unique, I'm just gonna run out of adjectives for this one, but this is a super bizarre movie, 1979. I don't know what to tell you about this one. Just watch the trailer because the characters literally deconstruct into shapes throughout the piece. Like, it gets real Picasso-y. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You gotta really pay attention though, because it is in French, I believe. No, Hungarian, another Hungarian animated film. So you gotta read subtitles and look at some really crazy, hard to follow animation. So it is tough. I will say it is tough. I don't mind subtitles, but it is kind of difficult sometimes when you're watching animated films or very visually stunning, just films in general, and you're also having to look at the bottom of the screen. So I might need a couple extra watches on that one, but again, like nothing I've ever seen before. Absolutely unique animation style there. Then we've got World War III, which I have heard from several subscribers in my comments section that this is maybe the most impactful film in the collection. There's a lot of lighter films in this collection. There are some heavy stuff in here, but this, I've heard, is completely unique amongst all of Deaf Crocodile's stuff, but it is a very powerful film. It's an Iranian film, a very intense film that I've heard from several people in my comment section that I need to go ahead and watch. This was one that really stood out to people, collectors of Deaf Crocodile. And I don't know much about it, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I've heard some really, really great things about it, and I can't wait to check it out. And that is from 2022, another very recent release, which makes sense how it got in the collection. Then we've got two more here Only 2 left in the Vinsyn run, and then we'll go over here to the newer hard box packaging. But the last 2 here we've got are Kinzaza. Just added this one to the collection right before Delta Space Mission. These are the last 2 I needed. This is another Soviet sci-fi film. It is described as what if Tarkovsky made an adaptation of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is a very slow-paced, quirky, dry comedy sci-fi film. Haven't seen this one yet, but one of the ones I'm most excited to check out. That's spine number 22 from Deaf Crocodile. Look at that. Looks great. And then the last one here is another Tushko film. The last Alexander Tushko film, Ruslan and Ludmila. I haven't seen it yet, but I have to imagine it is exactly like the other 3, a fairy tale, fantasy, romance, adventure. Look at that. There's like a giant stone giant there. Some beautiful artwork, by the way. I haven't mentioned the artwork. They get some of the best artists to do these slipcovers. They look amazing. The art underneath is great as well. They always do different artwork underneath for the limited, so you get tons of artwork, and some of that stretches through the booklet as well. Can't wait to watch another Tushko film, another Fantastica film. And speaking of Fantastica, they did a really cool Kickstarter special box set edition that is right here. This is the box set, Alexander Tushko. They made a set so I can put all 4 of my Alexander Tushko films right in there. I got the tier on Kickstarter that was the 4th film and the box set. Really cool that they gave you the option to do that if you already had the other 3. If you didn't get the other 3, there was an option where you could get all 4 films and the box set together. That is very, very expensive on eBay now, so hopefully they do a re-release down the road at some point, but I'm very, very happy I snagged a copy of that, and I love the different options that they gave on the Kickstarter for those of us who are in different stages of collecting Deaf Crocodile titles. It was such a cool, unique Kickstarter that they did, and I hope more boutique labels do special Kickstarters like that. Give us some customizable options, because I really didn't want to rebuy all the films because I already had them, and now I've got this wonderful box set. I usually keep them in there, but I took them out and put them in spine number order just for this video. But normally I keep them inside that box, and it's one of my favorite pieces because I like all of his films, and I can't wait to watch the 4th one. So that's the entire original run of Deaf Crocodile, all the way up to spine number 23. Now we're gonna get into the newer releases they've been putting out lately with the thicker, chunky hardbox packaging. I'm gonna go much quicker through these because I've already talked about all of these in other videos on the channel. Starting with the Savage Hunt of King Stack right here. This is the new packaging style. They're nice, thick, chunky boxes, just a little bit thicker than a standard Skinebo case like you would see for a Criterion or an Indicator release. They're a little bit thicker because they do have that 60-page booklet in there with several essays and lots of imagery going on. Some wonderful artwork still on all of these packages like they did for the original slips. Nice, hard, like I said, hard slip boxes. But this is The Savage Hunt of King Stack, another Russian film based on folklore, military war film set back during like the Middle Ages, and it's got some ghosts in it, like a little ghost tale. Excited to check that one out. Haven't got to these 3 yet. All of these other ones I've watched and reviewed for Deaf Crocodile on the channel, but these first 3 are new to the collection. Just got these last month. This is Adela Has Not Had Supper Yet, another weird, quirky Czech film that I can't wait to dive into. Just opened this recently, so I won't open it all the way up, but there is a case in there and a nice thick booklet as well. And then the third one here, going back to Russia. I didn't realize how many Russian films are in the collection until I've gone through all of these. Here's another one, In the Moscow Slums. Not animated, it is another live action film right there. And this one is from 2023, a very recent addition to the collection. I didn't mention this one is a 70s film, Adela, and then King Stack is an 80s film, 1980 and 1978 for those. Then we've got Trapped Ashes, which is a horror anthology film in the vein of some older, like classic horror anthologies. This was made in 2006, so another modern film that is basically a throwback to that earlier period. If you like those, that is some very, very weird, interesting stories in there. They go to some really unique and dark places. That was an interesting watch. And this is the first one in their Dead Crocodile line. They have I like that they do this, and we'll talk about another one in a second. They have like a custom logo on the side there that is like a zombie version of their crocodile logo. Dead crocodile. Maybe they're going to do more of those. I assume they're going to do more of those. That's the only one we have at the moment. Then we've got Tamala 2010, a punk cat in space, which is one of the most insane animated movies I've ever seen. It is from Japan. Punk rock, R-rated, Hello Kitty. And it's commenting on all of that hyper-consumerism of the time period. This is also from 2002. So they've done several modern 2000s films. Again, you got a booklet in there and a nice simple Skinavo case. Then we've got The Outcasts, one of my favorite titles in all of Deaf Crocodile. I had such a good time with this. This is an Irish film, a little tiny Irish film shot in 16 millimeter from 1982. And I am really looking forward to rewatching this month. We're right in the month of March, and I think this is a perfect time to rewatch this. I want to show it to Grace. She hasn't seen it yet. I watched this. I remember I watched it after one of my weekly live streams that we do on Monday night. Very, very late. Started at like almost midnight and watched the whole thing. Was never bored, was never tired. It was so good. Really, really like that one. Another great one, Felidae, a German animated film, a really dark, violent, depressing neo-noir from 1994. But it's all about cats. This is another one that's about cats. These are not walking, talking cats like Cat City. These are realistic house cats. He moves into a new town, stumbles across this murder, and gets caught up in a little mystery. And I highly recommend that one. It's like a David Fincher crossed with Don Bluth movie. If that sounds good to you, check it out, because it's really, really good. And I think that one's going out of print faster than usual. Then we've got The Golden Fern, a Jerzy Weiss film, another Czech film. I think it's part of the Czech New Wave. I'm not sure. If not, it's right around then, because I remember reading through this booklet, and there's a wonderful essay in here from Peter Hames, who has a book about the Czech New Wave, super knowledgeable about this period of cinema, and I learned a lot, and I love this movie. It is another dark fairy tale that gets very bleak and very, very serious as the film goes on, but still keeps those fairy tale roots as it goes through. Love The Golden Fern, another one of my favorites. I really want to do a ranking video. I got to watch more of these ones down here though before I can do that. Then we've got The Cathedral of New Emotions, a very experimental, surreal, psychedelic animated film that is a throwback to the Dada movement of the 60s and 70s, but this was made in 2006. It was the last piece that this artist made. He is kind of like a one-man show. He's doing everything in here. He's doing the animation, he's doing the voices with kind of a robotic text-to-speak sounding voice. This one is a little hard to muddle through, but there's some fascinating visuals in that one. And then that's the last one I've reviewed on the channel. Then I have these two right here, which I'm about to film a review for. Just watched these over the weekend. These are the newest titles, Gwen in the Book of Sand, and a double feature of Signals, A Space Adventure, and In the Dust of the Stars. I don't know if this video is going to come out first or that review, so you may have already heard me talk about these. These are really great. I really, really liked Gwen in the Book of Sand. This, I think, is up there on the level of Fantastic Planet as far as animated movies that are not for kids, that are complete works of art. Every single frame of this movie is painted with gouache paint. French film. It's right at 60 minutes, a little post-apocalyptic, little fable about anti-consumerism. There's some religious commentary in there. There's so much good stuff packed into that quick little animated movie. And this one is a lot of fun too. This is two German films made in the 1970s by the same director, Gottfried Kolditz, and they're very, very different. Kind of the fun of watching through these is seeing how sci-fi changed from the early 70s to the late 70s. So the first one came out in 1970. It's called Signals, A Space Adventure, and it's very 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's basically like a riff on a low-budget 2001: A Space Odyssey. The second one, though, comes out 1976. Very different, very Barbarella, very Zardos, crazy bonkers, over-the-top, groovy movie. It's fun to watch these back-to-back and see how different they are and see how sci-fi progressed over that decade. So that is the last one. Currently, when I'm making this video, spine number 34. You never know what you're gonna get from Deaf Crocodile. That's why I enjoy it so much. I know some people don't like the whole grab bag label, but I really enjoy it. Some people want a little bit more consistency with their releases, but Deaf Crocodile really doesn't have a brand. I mean, they're willing to put out anything. They do a lot of international stuff, a lot of animated stuff. Like I said, a lot of genre, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. But for the most part, they're down for whatever. And I can't wait to see what they put out for the rest of this year. I'm filming this in March. We've got a whole bunch more months of releases coming out soon. I'm already excited about some of the stuff they've announced. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know you made it through the whole video. Let me know which of these titles are your favorites. And share this video if you can. Give it a thumbs up. Let's try to spread the word a little bit more about Deaf Crocodile, because I think they're a great company and I want to support the little guys, the little underdog labels. And I've really got hours and hours of entertainment from these guys, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Deaf Crocodile, for the work you do. Thank you guys again for watching, and until next time, keep collecting.